So my grandma went by many names. To some, she was Mina, but to most, she was Mama. To my Lolo, she was my beautiful wife. But to me, she was, and always will be, my Lola. For Caitlin and I, Lola was our one and only grandma. We never got to meet Dad's mum, not because we didn't want to, but because she passed before we even were thought of. So I'd like to imagine that when my mum told Lola she was pregnant with me, she was set on being the best Lola ever. Especially since I was going to be her first ever granddaughter. So her first official act of best Lola ever was moving from the Philippines all the way to Auckland, New Zealand, just to be with me. And I guess to also support her daughter in giving birth. You know, once a midwife, always a midwife. From then on, she was simply always there. If I was scratching too much because of my eczema, she gave me mittens. If I was wearing pretty clothes, she told me I was a princess. If Mum had gone to work early, she would see me off as I walked to school. And if there was a new crush I had, she was always there with advice to give. But there was one thing that she did that will never leave me. As a young child, there would be times when I would wake up in the middle of the night wanting a drink of water, but I was too scared to get it myself because it was the middle of the night. So instead, I would call out for Lola, and without fail, she would manage to hear me, bring me a glass of water, and tuck me back in my blankets when I was done. Eventually, I got older, overcame my fear of dark hallways, and was able to get my own water during the night. But if I got older, that meant Lola did too. School send-offs became bedside kisses goodbye, and afternoon visits became trips to hospitals instead of the house that was just down the road. But Lola always had a funny way of keeping us on our feet. It was 2016 when I was first faced with the reality of losing her. I had just gotten out from swim training, and instead of going back home that night, we went straight to Footscray Hospital. She had a fall. She needed surgery. There was a chance she wouldn't make it, but she did. It was 2020 when I was ferrying Mum and Tita to and from their shifts at Mercy Hospital. She had an infection. There was a chance she wouldn't make it, but she did. It became a dance we all knew the steps to, a dance that had her getting through the next day and the next, until eventually she found her way back to the familiar walls of her room, surrounded by the love, care, and support of her family. The time she was home, we took turns looking after her. This meant I found myself tending to her needs more frequently, and that included quenching her thirst. And so, in true poetic fashion, when she called out my name, I heard her order a glass of water and tucked her back in her blankets when she was done. We shared many conversations by that bed. I would tell her about my classes, and she, like any Filipino Lola would, tell me to focus on my studies. I would tell her about how I finally got my own office at work, and she, like any Filipino Lola, would tell me to keep working hard. I would tell her about this amazing man I was dating, and she, like any Filipino lola, would interrogate me to make sure he was treating her granddaughter like a princess. I would say, mahal kita. I love you. And she, like any Filipino lola, would reply with mahal din kita. I love you too. Yes, Lola would do what any Filipino lola would. But that didn't matter, because to me, she was my Lola. My one and only Filipino Lola. She was the best Lola ever. Even though she's asleep now, I know her legacy lives on through the people she's touched, the children she's raised, and the grandchildren she's inspired. I know her legacy lives on because there's a little bit of Lola in everything we do. Whether it is just getting through one more day or bringing a glass of water to the people we love. Mahal kita, Lola. Mahal kita.
Me and my sister, we both wrote our eulogies like separately. And then I remember we last night, or I think the day before, we read ours to each other, and it was kind of crazy because they do start a bit similarly and they're asking similar points, but we are sisters, so it's probably expected, but I'll start. So, today we're here to celebrate the long life of Davina Carlton. This name holds different meanings to the people here today. Many a friend. Some may just know her as the cute old lady in the wheelchair, some an auntie, to 3 individuals a mom, and to one amazing person a wife. But to me, my sister and 3 cousins. I hate the sound it makes when people cry on the mics. She was a Lola, and a very special one at that. I count myself as extremely blessed to be on to have been on the receiving end of her love for my 18 years of life. My Lola filled my life with many memories. From a young age, I can always remember bringing my leggings or pants that had been filled with holes from me doing whatever I did in primary school. And she would sew them together with her cookie container, which to my constant disappointment was just a sewing box. All the memories of the countless filters which I put on her, the endless TikTok trends I tried to do with her, us sitting in her room, singing songs, reciting Bible verses, and saying prayers. I remember the times that she would come to our home and I would find word searches or math problems for her to do. And when I tell you I was quite literally running out of equations for her to do, I was like, damn, let me be as sharp as her when I'm older. A memory that I will always hold close to my heart is when I was at my teacher's house. And I can't exactly remember what happened, but I think my granddad had yelled at me. And knowing me, it was probably deserved. And I stormed the teacher's room very upset. I remember sitting on the floor, being very sad and crying, when I heard the gentle footsteps of my Lola, who was walking very slowly to check on me. And I'm pretty sure she just told me to eat. She knew me very well and knew how food was the way to make me feel better. This moment really describes the relationship we had. My Lola was a place of comfort, a person I could always go to. There is not a memory I have of her where she has yelled at me, and I cannot say the same for the rest of my family. But she was a person I could tell any life updates to, and her one sentence replies, "Those short meant the world to me." Now I know some of you may not have been here, some of you here today may have not seen or felt the fullest extent of my Lola's love, as she did become bedridden and a bit unwell early on. But I know that you would have met my mum and my auntie. These ladies are 2 very special people in my life. If you know me, you would know that my mom is probably my favorite person. and my auntie falling behind. Not to see my dad. So we put in the top five. The top five will go. My mum and auntie are very dear to me. My life would never be what it is without them. It is a life filled with food, laughter, and most importantly, love. The person I am here today, I would say, is built upon the love that they showed me. So I know it would have taken an even greater and more incredible woman to raise and shape these two ladies so that they can love in the way that they do. My mum would often tell me many stories of her growing up, from my Lola and mum going to the markets at early times in the morning, Lola showing her how to cook and budget, and I simply saw myself in those stories with my mum. She would tell me of the type of person Lola was, from staying up in the night to fan her, my auntie and my uncle in the hot Filipino weather, and to her lotioning them while they fall asleep, doing everything in her power to shower them with love. I know the people here today have seen my mum and auntie and have seen the love and warmth they have towards all the people around them. And I hope you know that they are that way because of my grandma and her love and selflessness. My Lola not only gifted me her love, but she helped to shape the best mom and auntie possible, who replicated her love and kindness. I know my grandma touched many people in different ways through her different stages of life. Though I believe she created in me my gentleness and warmth, my passion to help others and be kind, I would like to say, stemmed from her. Growing up, she showed me her unconditional love, so when it was her that got sick, it was time to give back and help in all the ways that she did for me. A reason why I want to go and be a support worker was because of her. Spending the time feeding her, helping her exercise, and changing her were all moments which I enjoyed. And I wanted to make sure that all grandmas and grandpas could feel the company and joy I like to say I gave to her. Now I could talk more and more about my grandma because there are so many memories that I had with her. But I'll just finish with this. I only had one grandma, so I have nothing to compare her to. But to me she was perfect, and no other grandma could ever outdo her. She's my inspiration and a person that I will hold with me in all parts of my life. And though I wish I could hug her one more time, and that she could be there when I got my first real job, or my first ever boyfriend, or simply be able to walk into this home, into her room, to ask her about my day and ask about hers. I'm happy to hold an endless supply of memories with her, and I hope that I too can be the living example of the love and kindness which my grandma had. Thank you.
I'm reading the letter of Gregory, the first grandchild of Mom. He wrote this one when he came visit her in the hospital, and Mom was already unconscious, unresponsive at this time. But when Gregory was reading this halfway through, Mom opened her eyes for 6 minutes. So, and he wanted me to read this. And this is from Gregory. He was whispering it to Mom's ears. Hello Lola, it's me Greg, your eldest grandchild. I flew down because I wanted to make sure you are okay, and I wanted to see you while you were here. Roger and CJ couldn't make it today. They really wanted to be here, but someone had to stay home and take care of Dad's dogs. They told me to send their thoughts and prayers to you and say thank you for everything. These last few days have been difficult for us to say the least. You've been such a big part in all of our lives for so long, and you have helped us with so much. You've lived a good and long life, Lola. You've lived to 90. You've seen so much and you lived so much. You've raised 2 wonderful daughters and a strong son, and watched them grow into intelligent and steadfast adults. You also watched me and Roger and CJ and Katie and Naomi grow into adults. You should be proud of all the things you've done and all the sacrifices you made for us. It hurts seeing you in such pain in the last few years. I still remember how you were when we were kids, and it makes me sad seeing how you are now. I can't imagine what you've been through, but I'm so grateful for the family and your church community for being there for you and helping whenever they can. I know all that you want is for our family to be happy and prosperous and to love God and love life with all our heart. It won't be easy without you, but we will always think of you. It helps me to know that you won't be in pain for much longer, and soon you will be in good hands. You're going home, and God will keep you safe until we see each other again. There's so many things I wish we could still do and see together. I would have loved you to be here to see me or my brothers or Katie or Naomi get married. I would have loved you to meet your great-grandkids. I would have loved you to see us grow older in our lives and our experiences. But I trust that when that time comes, the angels will keep you company as you watch over us. Thank you so much for all the many years you have taken care of me, Roger and CJ. I will never forget the times you took care for me and the boys when we were kids, while Mom and Dad were busy with work. I will always cherish those memories. May Almighty Father guide you on your journey back home. May God keep us company here through this difficult time. We will always keep you close in our hearts. Take care, Lola. I love you. I've always loved you. I will always love you. And I will always remember you.